has been allocated and most humans live in absolute poverty. The earth is shaking, the walls are coming down and the truth must be known. If you think that you know what's going on, I strongly advise you to take another deeper look and see how deep the rabbit can go.
How and why the events of 2011 are happening is it a revolution, or it's more of an orchestrated Broadway theme? Propaganda, bankers' control, mass media and even secret societies. You think I'm talking now about a video game or a movie in theatre? No, my friends, this is what we've been programmed to say. I know some might say I do everything with my free will, so before we get into a zigzag of information, let's take a look what free will really means.
I asked Rachel, who is going to a respected university, about why her going to school, why it's important, and is she forced to do it. Her answer was,
I go to my university by my own free will because I have to get the proper education to be able to secure a good job.
Hold on for a second. This isn't her free will, it's an option which was available, and the corporations posting for jobs are requiring a certain education, so I'm sorry, this is not free will, this is a path. If you'll go for it, you will get a job, start a family and live happy, and maybe one day you can get your shot like those guys in the movies. Come on man, it could happen to me.
So boys, free will is nothing but the hand which picked from a variety of cards, and remember, cards are limited, so you can't free willingly pick other options, only cards which is being offered to you at that stage of the game. So let's cut the crap and get back to what's matter. If I can't control my choices, then who does? No, hold on a second, how they do it?
Well, the answer to that is very simple, and you can call it the mass media. If we want to study the mass media in relative to our society, we must define a new understanding which can identify the mass media. Wikipedia identify mass media as popular press, but mass media means something else in sociology, a definition which identifies the purpose of the mass media, which is the means for delivering impersonal communications to a vast audience. Looking at the mass media from another perspective, such sociological perspective, makes sense if we examine the mass media in relative to public choices. So why mass media is that powerful? Simply because it's everywhere around us. As defined by C. Wright Mills in The Power Elite, 1956, the mass media have two important sociological characteristics. First, very few people can communicate to a great number, and second, the audience has no effective way of answering back. Mass communication is by definition a one-way process. Media output is regulated by governments everywhere, but the restrictions vary from country to another, that if they use the mass media as a primer tool and not getting franchised entertainment and news. Early studies by Harold Lasswell, Paul Lazarsfeld, and others seem to show that media effects were indeed direct and powerful, the so-called hypodermic model of influence. But more intensive research revealed that mass communications are mediated in complex ways, and that their effects on the audience depend on factors such as class, social context, values, beliefs, emotional state, and even the time of day. Media research has expanded enormously since the 1960s, with most attention going to television as the most pervasive medium. D. McQuail's Mass Communication Theory, 1983. Mass media comes in different forms and shapes, which is a fact due to the progressive technologies available nowadays. Sociologists believe that we are now experiencing the information age, an age where the individual can get a huge amount of information in matters of few seconds.
There is a different types of channels for the mass media. Some may explain this variety of channels as a result of information age, which could be valid. But as sociology taught us, there is nothing purely mass communications. With the rise of different channels and forms, typhoons, clashes, and constant competition arise and took different shapes for a share of the information age. But smartly, there is a way for mass media to make money out of the information age, a profit which established a long relationship between mass media corporations and large corporate brands through advertisements and smart exposure for goods, products, and services. This relationship between the mass media and large corporate brands came with all kinds of profits for the owners. As mass media grow larger with brands' advertisements, we are now witnessing the peak of mass media mania, and the influence of the brand is no longer surrounded by the country borders. No, we are speaking globally, where you have McDonald's in every corner, a organic shop in every mall.
We were looking at the bigger picture for a moment, but let us go in details. I had noticed only by observing some of my friends and family members that their choices for their food, clothing, mobiles, music and lifestyle is governed by the mass media. As we highlighted previously, that the mass media is in relationship with large corporate brands, each provides what the other needs in order to grow larger. The mass media focus will be on the children and the youth, as they are the most attractive target for the mass media and brand advertisement. Children and youth are the ultimate consumer, although they might not earn much, but their exposure to the mass media change their ideology, and easily the mass media can affect their community by many smart and wicked ways.
We came across a survey which was conducted on teens between 13 and 17 years about the activities they have done the day before, and results shockingly proves that TV is the most powerful tool which influence our day-to-day living. Or shall we consider this a pre-programming which will reflect onwards on the daily choices and interactions based on the psychological programming which was fed to his mind, whether before 1 day or 10 years? The effect of the mass media is massive and unstoppable, considering what I mentioned as the answer. Our daily habits grows every day, and the mass media effect is expanding bigger by the minute, with rating wars to first time's appearance. Media has it all covered, with the continued support of big corporate brands and advertisements, making this exchange within this relationship much profitable.
Another astonishing survey we came across that matter the US teenagers' consumption of media channels, which indicates that TV also is a massive tool that can reach millions and millions. What fascinates me is that we are living in the information age, and the tools of communications between the mass media and the community is growing and developing day after the other. The mass media through the information age has been performing the role of life support for the industry age. How come? With the branding mania and with the ultimate machine at war, stratification gap has grown bigger and bigger. And in order to close this gap, simply you will have to start opening up for investments and branding. What makes it effective that the youth in your country watch it on TV, reads it in magazine, surf it on internet and listen to it in music? So if you don't close the gap and get the youth what they're being programmed to have, you may be a third world country, or why not a terrorist, as they say in the media. Now the media always focus on the environment surrounding terrorists, which always a place without branding, and once the war is over, big brands takes over everything. I believe that we should manage what we see and what we don't, and be more careful for what our brothers, sisters and children watch, as the mass media is like a mass hypnosis that blind and direct our choices, which reflects on our lives, health and religion.